It's my honor to introduce Vice Admiral Dave Dunaway. He's the commander of the Naval Air Systems in Pax River. Admiral Dunaway is a 1982 graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, as well as 2 Masters of Science, one in Aviation Systems Management and the other in Aerospace Engineering. His personal decorations include the Distinguished Service Medal, the Legion of Merit, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Navy Marine Corps Commendations Medal, and the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal. He has accrued more than 2,900 hours, and I think it's an F-18, if I'm not mistaken. They go really fast. And 290 arrested carrier landings. Arrested carrier landings, the Admiral tells me, is when you stop. Did I get it correct? That's the banking term for a job well done. So we're always glad that his takeoffs and his landings matched. Admiral Dunaway has been successful in several distinguished positions throughout his career in the Navy. As mentioned earlier, he is now commander of Pax River's Naval Systems Command. In this position, he oversees military and civilian personnel in 8 locations in the United States and 1 site overseas. His leadership ensures that Naval Air completes its mission, which is to provide a full life cycle support for naval aviation aircraft, weapons, and systems. Now, for our graduates tonight, listen carefully to the careers that his sailors and Marines have selected as they work for the Admiral during his command. Research, design, development and systems engineering, acquisition, test and evaluation, training facilities, equipment repair and modification, and this is a Navy's term, in-service engineering, and of course, logistical support. And for my favorite department, business and accounting, all that financial reporting that has to go with these tasks reports directly to him and is under his purview. So with that, I would love for you to join me in welcoming Vice Admiral Dunaway.
Well, I didn't realize I was so important and powerful. I wish my wife was here to hear that. At home, I am the dance teacher's husband. So thank you all for being here tonight. Bradley, Mike, thank you all very much. This is a very cool night. It's nice to have so many distinguished visitors in the audience. And it's really important to have parents, family, friends, significant others, because the support infrastructure that goes with a graduate, we all know is an important part of being a graduate. Some of you have done it on your own, but largely you've done it because you had somebody behind you helping you out. Remember that, because at some point in your life, you'll be that person. It's an important artifact. And to the students, congratulations. It's a great event. It's a great event that is the very first step on that circle he was talking about. And so tonight I'm going to ask you to think about, what does it mean? Where are you going to take us today? Because we're handing the baton to you. This is you. We've had our run. Most of us are very chronologically challenged, as are some of your graduates, which is really impressive. I think that's fantastic that folks who have experienced the world are coming back to school. But the real question is, where are you going to take us with this education you've got? How are you going to use that? I can tell you where you're starting. You're starting in the greatest country in the world. There is absolutely no doubt about it that our standard of living, our safety, our security, the fact that we have individual liberties, the fact that our Constitution is based on the fact that you as individuals have the right to do what you want to do, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Look at the diversity of this crowd that's graduating today. Look at the fact that there's, I think, 67% women graduating. There are countries in this world where women cannot go to school, period. Look at the men and women of color. Look at the Asian population. Look at the diversity. And nobody in this crowd thinks for a minute about it because it's normal to us. It's okay. It's not the way it is in the world. I think that's a fantastic part of what this country brings to the game. Our founding fathers were very smart. They put balance of forces in play. They have the legislative, executive, judicial branch. It keeps us in check, keeps us in balance, and keeps us focused on what's most important, and that is the individual liberty of each and every human. We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're entitled to opportunity. Those are very important words that I think you need to carry on. We do our best work when we work in a very balanced, respectful, and rational process. That's what we do our best work in. We do our best work when we're service-oriented, when we serve each other more than we serve ourselves. We do our worst work when we get greedy, when we want a little more than we really deserve, when we get entitled to prejudice. That's when we do our worst work. So the question is, where are you going to take us? How are you going to keep us on that path? The world's a crazy place right now. You know, technology is advancing at a pace that we just can't keep up with. There's a lot more computer processing power out there than we're using. Population's growing. Budgets are declining. We have a lot of regional instability. Iraq, Iran, North Korea, Syria. The world is a crazy place. And then you look at home and we have this great political polarity, and we're watching it play in living color day by day. Now, all that sounds disastrous and difficult, but I tell you, I am an optimist. I think that this country is poised very well, even in the political polarity that we're enjoying right now, to emerge stronger than we've ever been before. And largely, I believe that that's going to happen because of you, because we have this group that's graduating today. So my advice to you comes in three forms. This is really important, and you have to remember this, and I'm sure you will. Tribalism, oysters, and buffalo herds. That's what's important, right? Tribalism. All right, so I know that many of you in this crowd are much like me, a Dallas Cowboy fan. I am a member of the Dallas Cowboy fan club, right? See? Only to be right now, I'm a pathetic friend of the Dallas Cowboy fans because we are horrible. But by God, I'm a Cowboy fan. Many of you in this crowd are Redskin fans. And yeah. And we could have a heated debate about who is better. And we would, in fact, have a heated debate about who's better because we would retreat into our tribes and we would bow up and we would fight for our cause. But the minute we started to talk about the Winter Olympics that's getting ready to happen in Sochi, we'd all unite, right? The Cowboy fans and the Redskin fans be standing arm in arm to defend the United States because that's our bigger tribe. That's a real important concept that you've got to understand. It's real important that diverse groups are really worth having. It's okay to have diversity and difference of opinion. It's okay for you to have an allegiance to one small tribe and allegiance to a larger tribe. It's real important that you remember that. Second, oysters. Now, oysters are that little barnacle-encrusted succulent object that we eat in the wintertime, any month with an R in it, right? Now, I understand you can eat them in months without an R because they ship them in here, but I love oysters. And when I look at an oyster that sits in the water and filters fish droppings, I think about, who was the first person that decided to try and crack that little succulent oyster open and eat that handkerchief residue that sits in there, right? Who did that? Because that person is the kind of person I want on my team. That person had bold and innovative ideas as they went forward. They did not see the crust. They did not see the slime. What they saw was something that was new and different and worthy of a try. That's what they saw when they looked at that. Bold and innovative, curious people. That's an important part of life. And lastly, buffalo herds. I don't know if you've ever seen a buffalo herd run, but there's always a lead buffalo, and lead buffalo changes. It changes quite frequently. But in a buffalo herd, if one buffalo stumbles, it gets a big old mess and a pileup, and it is an absolute mess. The lesson in buffalo herds comes in two forms. One's if you're a lead buffalo, follow a path that keeps your herd from running off a cliff. That's an important thing. If you're a following buffalo, don't fall down. Keep up. Because if you don't, the herd's going to run over you and trample you. And that's a real good analogy for the way life goes. So tribalism is very much about healthy competition. It's about acceptance. It's about enjoying diversity, seeing what other folks do, taking heart in it, trying to find the win-win solution. That's what tribalism is about. Too frequently, we make it win-lose. It's got to be win-win as you work through it. Oysters are about learning, about innovation, about being bold, about seeking to understand something that might look crusty and ugly on the outside. Buffalo herd's about being a good leader. If you're in the front of the pack, be a good leader. Think about what you're doing. You've got a lot of people behind you. If you're a follower, be a good follower. That's okay to be a follower. I've been a follower all my life, right? You're always behind somebody at some point. Be a good leader, be a good follower. So here we are, class of 2014, the winter commencement. And the question is, where are you going to take us? What are you going to do for us in this country? We're in a very exciting, dynamic time. There's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of change is going to happen in your lives. What are you going to do for us? CSM is a great start. I love the concept of taking kids right out of high school and sending them through a community college and getting them 2 years of stability, getting them 2 years of foundation, getting them an associate's degree, starting off on a career path, maybe going off to university, maybe coming out of a life of raising children and doing work where you come back and get an education. Continuous learning. This is a fantastic opportunity. Don't squander it. Use it for us. And I have stolen these last two final thoughts from our Chief of Naval Operations, who is a very bright man. And his last two thoughts that he spoke at the Naval Academy graduation in 2012 when my son graduated are two things. One, wear sunscreen. And two, when you're away from home, call your mother. Don't forget those. So I thank you all for doing what you've done for this country. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate the fact that the faculty is supported, family supported. This is a wonderful event. God bless you.